Oh. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We are here for another Friday. With you rocking out that sip and chat type conversation. And we hoping that you got our message early that we weren't gonna be on that last week. It was a whole bunch of things happening, whole bunch of stuff happening.
Yeah.
And we was like trying to wear our capes and still show up. And we had to make an executive decision. So we are glad to be with you this Friday, so that we could jump into this conversation. And, as we always start out our lovely conversations, we check in on how our week is going and how things are rocking it out for us. So, Doc, how are you grooving this week?
I'm okay. It was kind of tough going into the week because I had um hmm, some concerning health stuff
Okay.
going on that got figured out.
Okay.
So I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good, but it really brought up some feelings for me around this topic
Mm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I was really hell bent on just protecting people
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
around me while
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with.
Correct.
hmm
Correct.
So yeah, this was a very, I won't say eye opening because I know, and most people who do this know that they do it.
Right.
We know that we put other people first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can see it, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we don't know how to stop doing it because
Mm-hmm.
of all the guilt that comes with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was just raise some more awareness for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
the week ended on a wonderful, good note,
Right.
and I am feeling really good.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. You reminded me too of a moment. I went to the medical office for to get checked out and was turned away as a Black woman in need of a checkup, which
What?
triggered me in regards to how just Black women are strong. It don't matter what's happening. They can, just make it through whatever. But I'm sure
Mhm.
it sounds like we're going to be diving into that a little bit as we get into our conversation.
Mhm.
So we have the baby on with us tonight. Welcome, baby, to Sip and Chat. Look at the new baby, 2 weeks old today. And we have Camp joining us. I don't know if Camp can come off of mute right now. I know her background is a little busy. Um, yeah, so she give me the head nod. It's a little busy. So she's waving and showing and sharing the baby with us. So thank you for coming on and being with us. And then we have the Mister, the one and only. Show me the data, show me the stats, tell me the facts. Because it ain't going down like that. Daryl,
Hey, how's everybody doing?
how you doing? You
I'm
like your
doing well,
intro?
doing well, doing well, doing well.
You like your intro?
I did. I need to save that and use that. Put it on one of my buttons so I can just have it go every time.
Yeah, just be like, okay, the one and only.
Right.
Paul Slim Chocolate with the locks that work
There.
you out at 6:30 in the evening.
Hey, you say it. Everybody be quiet and listen to her. Listen up. She tells no lies.
I figured you like that. I needed some liveliness up in the room, up in
Right,
the
right,
room.
I have
right.
locks too. I have locks too, so you may
Oh,
need to cut that line.
oh, oh. Does my locks count?
Yes, yes, they do.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know since we was comparing locks. Oh, Daryl gave a look like my locks don't count. I'm committed a little bit. I'm committed a little. Like they've been here for a minute. I'm committed a little bit.
I'm not going to speak on that one. Let that one go.
Hey. And if I keep them in here too many more weeks, they're gonna be real locks.
Right.
So let's
Yes.
just keep it real. It's gonna have to be a flip up real soon. Before they swooped over to the side. So, with our comedy going on this evening, our conversation that we've kind of alluded to in our introduction is kind of loaded this evening. And it might need to be a couple parts, but we'll see how we flow through the conversation safely. But talking about relationship tropes, and not just relationship tropes for women, but men as well, and just in society. And how do we wear the cape to kind of protect, hide, shield? We're embarrassed, don't want you to know type situations, and how is that impacting us in our sustaining our relationships? So that's where we're going tonight.
They're not.
What was not the
It's
camp?
not the same in our relationship. Sometimes we're drowning, but we show.
We're
It's
drowning.
a masquerade. We're drowning.
It's a whole masquerade.
You're walking around depressed. Don't even know you're depressed. You're lashing out at other people. Can't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
You look halfway. You're just not your real self,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you don't know it.
And you don't even realize it.
Mm-mm.
Well, I say, when do you have time to realize it when you're saving the world?
Mm-hmm.
When it
to
gets
honest.
quiet.
Well, even those quiet moments, you're passing out, right? So, because there's so much thrust upon that there, like I said, if it's not work, it's family, it's work, advocacy, and community. It's everything is on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're carrying that much weight, there's not much time for yourself, for one. And I would think that can't even recognize it at that point.
I knew
You're so consumed with everything else.
I just knew for me, I had to schedule myself. I write down everything I have to do for everybody else. But when I schedule myself, it happens. I make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good for you, but I think for
But it's
the
hard.
masses,
It's
masses, people have not learned how to I can't say that word. Put in little compartments.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, compartmentalize. There we go. People haven't learned how to do that at this point because you're just trained to do. You've been doing for so long. You've been taking care of. I mean, again, it always goes back to even the beginning here when they were taking care of two families. You had to take care of this one family over here that cared nothing about you and raised their kids, and you had to go home and take care of your family after they done worked in the fields or whatever you had to do. So you had to do your job in the fields, you had to take care of your family, take care of their family, and that never stopped.
Right.
That mentality, that thought process became innate, and you're the fixer. You know, you are everyone goes to you for everything. So then, who do you go to for anything? And that becomes where you don't even have that outlet.
Right. And that's where the cape comes in at because people come to you for everything and you are the resource, recommendation, sense of peace, sense of stabilization. Like you don't have that same person to go to. Or you believe that you don't because you may end up talking yourself out of feeling safe with that particular person, either because of history or because of you just like, okay, well, they got stuff. They can't take on your stuff.
Well, again,
sometimes you don't want to be a burden.
That word.
Well, again,
yes.
and sometimes it's more, I can't even really see you needing help. I mean, see, there's terms out there like black girl magic that have really taken a life of its own, and it means you can do anything and everything at all times.
Right.
So it makes it puts this unfair expectations that you can handle everything. Black girl magic. So it's almost ruined people because now it's like, hey, you better not. You can't be weak. You can't slow down. You cannot not help. You cannot stop because black girl magic means you have it. It's in you. So that is driving a lot of us. A lot of what I see, and this is outside position, this is what I see. It's driving a lot of women to be excellent all the time And now you can't admit when you need help because you look weak. You don't want to look weak. Or who's listening? I'm so used to you being so strong, I can't see you needing help. I just can't, So that becomes a problem because now we have conditioned everybody to feel a certain way about us. And it's funny, I was listening to Trevor Noah today. Trevor Noah.
I want to go see him in July.
Right. He was really dope. He was talking about how in Africa where, and I can't remember the adage, but it was something in the effect of where if you hit a woman, you hit a rock. It's something solid, it's unbreakable. He said that women are leading the movements because even behind, he was like behind Nelson Mandela, Winnie was really doing the thing over there. Right. So Black women have always been there and been the pillars and not given the credit. Someone else may take the credit when they may be doing all that behind the scenes work. Before you get ready to make that big speech, everything else was done by her. All you had to go up there and speak. So this has been something that's become as American as apple pie, to be honest, where you're going to be strong. You're going to carry everything. You're not going to get the credibility that is given with it. You're not going to get the notoriety, but everybody's going to tell you, hey, girl, you're so strong. You're so strong, which is not a good thing because it's like, we don't need to help you. Why need to help you if somebody's so strong? Nobody need to help Superman. Superman is Superman. You don't need help Superman. Just let Superman go.
Yeah, you said it becomes innate, but it's also taught. You just showed how it is taught.
Well, a learned innate, meaning yes, it's and it's perpetuated,
and it's expected, and it is passed down.
Right. Right. This is what it is, and it's very difficult because, like I said, we can't see it from the outside looking in because we already have these expectations of you being, again, even like the doctors, Mary said, hey, you're okay. You're all right. You don't need this.
You don't need to come in.
Right. Your pain is different than everybody else. Your tolerance is higher. Right. All these type of things that they say.
They scheduled the appointment because I hadn't been in. And then when I show up, they refuse to see me.
Well, when they saw you, they're like, oh, Mary, oh, wait, hey, you're good. We saw with somebody else. Our fault.
Yeah, they're like, what's your birthday? Oh, you good. You've been here for all these years.
Right. You're not 97 yet. You come in when you're 97. Again, but that just goes back to the way that Black women are looked at, as strong and independent. That word independent too, strong, independent, is not necessarily a good thing because you start saying independent, I can do it all, or I have to do it all by myself.
It makes me think of it makes me think of a couple that I was talking to, and the husband said, I married you because you were strong and you're independent and you could do everything on your own. And she said, I married you so I wouldn't have to.
Right.
So even in our relationships, that image is perpetuated. Like, she's a strong, she don't need me. She love me and she want me, but she don't need me to help her with anything.
Right.
Even emotional support.
Right.
And then and we take on that role and say to ourselves, I don't need it. I don't need you for nothing.
Right.
I don't need your emotional
and that's so false.
Yes.
Well, see, and I think in that relationship dynamic, I hear a lot, right? Where the dude is like, well, you're strong, you don't need me. And she's like, I want to stop doing these things. But it's weird because a lot of times I see these strong, independent women not relinquishing the things they say they don't want to do.
Well, because then they have rules on how they want it to happen, and when it doesn't happen the way that they want it under that perfectionist standpoint, then it's like they discredit what their mate or partner can offer, and then be resentful that they have to do it.
Right. So then that becomes the problem because like, yo, every time I do it, you got a problem with it. I ain't gonna do it. So you gotta it's tough, but I think women also have to learn to rethink things and to kind of, I get it. They're it's very uncomfortable to give up control when you had to do it for so long by yourself, right? And somebody's come in, I don't really know if you're going to be here or not, so I'm going to keep doing it. It's hard to say, all right, I'm going to relinquish some of the things that I say I want to relinquish and really do it. That's difficult because you don't get that person space.
I was like, that's the reason.
You don't get that person. You don't give that person a space to make a mistake. I might get it wrong, and as soon as I get it wrong, like I told you, I'm gonna do it myself. But no, give me a chance.
That's a whole mindset change too, about right and wrong ways to do things, because there are many ways to do things. And I'm always telling people, if you're going to give up some control and let a person do something, you let them do it their way. You don't have to control how they do it as long as it gets done.
Well, I think in some relationships, in some circles, it's about if you don't do it the way I want it done, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So you get canceled. You get canceled. Don't even try to do it. It makes no sense. You're not doing it the right way. I set it up. I want it done. Well, I'm sorry.
Or when I say do it, sometimes it's when. It ain't the right way. It's like I need it right now. If you don't do it right now, forget it. I'll do it myself.
When I clap,
I don't need you.
When I
or you say
strong, independent black woman. I don't need you. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
When I clap, you move. You slide your feet.
That's a puppet. That's not a partner.
Go ahead and do it with your strong. Go ahead and do it with your strong self.
And that's where the disconnect of the emotions come into play. Or we've talked about before, the emotional intelligence that people just don't realize the impact of the tropes or these roles that society has kind of like determined on how we're supposed to be really play out in our emotionality towards each other or lack thereof, because it just makes me think of one of the couples that I'm working with where the husband sees time being mismanaged, but he doesn't see where, because he's away from home a lot of the times, the high performing wife is high performing in her profession and also a single parent because he's away most of the time. And so she has to do the groceries by order. She has to do like everything by order. And so when she gets in the house, she wants to talk on the phone just to decompress. And he's like, that's mismanagement of time. You're not paying attention to the kid. You're not cleaning the house. It's crumbs on the counter. It's this left on the. I'm like, really? We micromanaging what?
Right. Crumbs on the counter, really?
You checking at the cameras because you on the road?
I would say hire a nanny and a maid.
Wait a minute, time out. Where did that come from? Were those expectations already being done and then they stopped doing them? He has expectations. He has expectations that came from somewhere. Now, if she was ever doing it, if they were coming from nowhere, okay, I get it. But like, I need more. Like, if she was doing it before and now she's not doing it, like, why does she feel that she has to do these things?
So the roles did change. Like if we go on the social premises of the roles, when she was in med school, he was present in the house more. So then therefore the gap of whatever he was expecting to be done was being done by him. Now that he's not physically present because his work has him away for like 4 to 14 days at a time. So it's like when he comes in, he has these expectations of what the house should be looking like. And in her role now being past medical school and in her profession, you know, and doing everything, like it's very, very challenging to balance it, very challenging to kind of manage everything, and really has no space for downtime because where's the downtime coming from?
Right.
And they have multiple kids?
No, he wants multiple kids. They have one. And they're a young couple. Like, young couple under 6 years.
They have multiple kids.
No.
Oh, she doesn't
claim his kids? One 4-year-old.
She don't claim his kids?
He don't have any kids.
Oh, I think she said he had multiple kids and she had one. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm sorry. I heard something wrong.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Doc, what you hear?
Huh? That's what I heard.
I heard that.
No, he doesn't have any kids. He's away because of his work has him away.
Right.
And I said 4 days, but it could go up to 2 weeks at a time. He's on the road.
Yeah, I heard one kid though.
Yeah, I heard this. Yeah, I heard they got one kid. And he wants multiple kids.
And he wants more.
Oh, he wants multiple.
He wants more with this schedule of being away. He doesn't, the emotional disconnection as well as the idea of the role that he wants a wife to play falls into these social tropes that we're talking about that makes it imbalance with the emotional intelligence that we've talked about before. Like she needs that downtime. She needs that reconnection time. And, you know, she has what? It sounds like a what?
Tell him if he can't clean the house now, he definitely can't do it with 2 other kids in the house. I'm just letting you know.
Right?
I'm just trying to
look. And he wants Cheeks on delivery when he come home. So Cheeks can't be on delivery when he come home. Like asking for too much.
Like, he got some. Hey, tell him, did you guys talk about unrealistic expectations? Did you guys have a conversation about those?
We did. Yeah, we did. We definitely did.
Realistic. Because he is thrusting upon her the superwoman role.
Exactly.
Or trying to.
Very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard. While at the same time, she's combating the superwoman role that she's had to play by being the only elevated woman in her family with a high profile position that everybody comes to her for stuff. And like, where do I get a break? Like, I can't even get a break with my husband. So like, where do I get a break?
Right.
When you say no.
Yeah, that works.
Basically.
But that goes with learning how to play the schedule.
It's no arguments when you just say no. It's okay. It works.
But, you know, assertiveness is a skill that many people don't have.
Right. It's learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're in therapy now.
And that's why that cape becomes so heavy sometimes. Mm-hmm. Because you can't say no.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to say no.
And then as it was shared on the private thing, the people throw stuff in your face that they know about your family history and say, oh, well, the reason you don't do this, that, and the third is because of your lack of relationship with this person or your lack of doing this or your lack.
And another thing.
Is that throwing your stuff in your face or is that just stated fact?
Well,
I just need to know.
It's just unresolved is throwing stuff in your face because it's pain that's unhealed.
So if I'm connecting the dots, say, hey, look, maybe you're doing this because of what happened here. That's the problem. Should we ignore it? I'm just asking for a friend.
For a friend, I wouldn't say that you should ignore it, but I would say have some sensitivity on how you bring it up.
Okay, yeah, it's about how you say it. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You don't say that in the midst of an argument about me trying to be assertive about what I need.
But that's how else I'm gonna prove my point. That this is why you're doing it.
Right. Right.
And it's so interesting that you say that way because that sounds like how the session goes.
Right. See, you acting like that because your mom had no sense. You know what I mean? That's when it comes up because you're acting like your mom now in the argument.
I wonder how could we really identify or begin to break the intergenerational cycle of wearing these capes and trying to fix the things that we, can't necessarily fix or undo what we have experienced, but we can choose to do something different without apologizing. That sorry, not sorry, concept.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one thing that I'm teaching a lot of women is to put themselves first without feeling guilty about it. Mm-hmm. 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 Because we are given that or taught that if we put ourselves first, it's selfish, or we're not being good parents or good partners, and that's just not true. Mm-hmm. There is a balance. Mm-hmm. Just because you put yourself first sometimes does not mean that you ignore everybody else. That's Correct. Not what that means.
Or you doing tit for tat.
Right. That's not what that means.
Mm-hmm. You can put yourself first right after dinner's done.
So Daryl
sound like me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Y'all usually sound similar on some things.
Yes.
I'm crying.
Daryl, yeah, I'm sure you are crying. So who says that the woman is the one that has to prepare the meal? Why could you not prepare that meal so there could be less stress on your partner? or a night that you know that she's coming in later from a full day, like why would it still be her responsibility to maintain that trope and that societal standard? I see you.
Black girl magic. Black girl magic. Strong, independent Black women. Go ahead and get that dinner done.
You was hungry before I got home, so you could have ordered.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes. Could have thawed out the food. You went grocery shopping.
You should have. Wait a minute. You should have been home already. Why are you home working late? You could do that, and you ain't wasting time. No, I'm saying no. So really, I mean, that could happen, and it should happen in that case. But remember, it's all we got to start defining our relationships, right? When we get into these relationships, if your expectations are whatever your expectations are, you need to lay that out in the beginning before you guys get serious and you're married. Now you're like, you don't cook every night. Like, no, I don't cook every night. We never talked about me cooking every night. So I believe that we really have to start hashing things out more and really defining what we feel our roles are in our relationship, not what society says our roles are, but what our roles are actually are, what they're going to be in this relationship, what I expect from you and what you expect from me. And then see if we can meet in the middle.
I'm working with a young man now who's had some difficulty in his marriage. And part of that is, his wife felt like she was in it by herself for the most part. And he is now just starting to reap the rewards of him being more involved. Now he's taking on cooking a couple meals each week. And she's like, she is like feeling real good about that. So it has had a very positive effect on his relationship. So yeah, sometimes if you notice that your partner is wearing a cape, you can step in and try to help them put some of that weight down.
If they allow
you could do it on your own, or you can go to them and ask them, what can I help you with?
So again, I when I have these situations, see these situations, some people don't want to put the cape down or know how to. They don't know how to stop. They don't know how to. They don't know how to. So when you're in there cooking, you need a little, put a little salt. Hey, where the fat? And there, hey, go ahead and do it. Right? You're folding the clothes up. Hey, you know that the edges go out and the collars go. Hey, go ahead and do it. Right? If you're going to cheerlead from the sideline and then take over, you're not letting me take the cape off, help you take the cape off, and you're actually making it even worse for me to do. I don't want to do it if I'm going to
because now you're criticizing everything that I do.
Every step. Yeah. Hey, the cups don't go in there till they dry.
Yes.
Well, dry them then, Superwoman. So it takes two, right? You have to understand that you have to give someone space and know how to give them space, know what that looks like, right? Because just because you say you're giving over the keys, but you're in the passenger seat with your foot on the brake and gas with me, that's not helping. So we got to figure out how to, and so it takes both of us to learn how to navigate that. It's not just one party. It's kind of both of us.
No, you're right.
It comes from a place like where probably since childhood, you've always had to step in and make sure that it was done whatever the correct way is, that you have to unlearn that pattern because, again, it falls into, we're saying cape wearing or the social media tropes. Like it falls into you just doing what it is that but you have to be willing to also acknowledge to unlearn that role that you fall into so easily.
Right.
Very true. Right. Very true. And it happens a lot with people who have been parentified as kids.
Correct.
Right.
You might need to know what parentified is because everybody in the world don't know what parentified actually is.
Us professionals, we know what that
is. When there's a child who has to take on the role of parent by taking care of, literally sometimes taking care of their parents.
Right.
Especially if the parents have some type of issues, mental health, substance abuse, general just neglect or just
lazy.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but sometimes parents are just too busy to parent. If I got to work 2 jobs and I only have 4 hours when I get home and sleep for a little bit, the kids are raising themselves.
Right.
Yeah, somebody got to raise your brothers and sisters.
That's most people.
They got to eat, right? So I don't care if you're 7. I don't care if you're 7. Get in there and make you cook for them and get this done, have the clothes set out. And then you have this 7-year-old being a whole grown parent.
Yeah.
Sadly.
It makes me think of another dynamic, though, that happens that people don't often talk about, the male influence or the male impact of how you identify for yourself as a male. And I have a father-son duo is what I'll call them, where there's something that happened for the young man at 6. He was very proud playing his video game and wanted to show his father his success in the game. And father was on a phone call, and the child came into the room that he was in, excited, not knowing the boundaries of this business phone call. And father began yelling. And then the child left the room and came back in. Father went into the room where the game was. And before the child could save the scores, unplugged and destroyed the game.
Oh.
And so now that this young man is 25 years old, that incident, along with several others, has now triggers his ability to show up in other relationships, his emotionality or his sensitivity, and is easily triggered by yelling or being dismissed or not being acknowledged in certain ways. And he hates his father.
And I would bet that he can't share joy with other people because he doesn't trust that people will be responsive or
be present in the moment
or be
for
present.
him. Be happy for him, or listen. Just have a listen.
Or listen. That's all he wanted, is somebody to listen and hear. I mean, there's other examples, but that's the first imprint that he can recall. Now I can say after 3 sessions, they're now beginning to forgive each other. But still the stain is still there and still impacting the young man. Like I said, he's 25 and he's just done well on a job, but a job that resembles the same job that his father had and the same type of productivity, demand, where he can easily get frustrated in the same manner. So like linking those two things together as well, like that trauma begins to shape how it is that you play roles in relationships. That he doesn't trust himself in having a partner.
And I think sometimes parents, it's hard for them to make space for that when they're working at home or just working in general, or overworked, trying to just pay bills, just trying to do the basics. So you have to really work at making room for your kids to just come and talk to you, or just you can take a moment and be like, hold on for a second. Now tell me what, and I'll come back to you later. Even just doing that helps. But if you don't make room for your kids, it runs havoc.
And a lot of times it's just, like I said, it could be even just ignorance. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. We don't know that we have to make room for our kids or know what that looks like. So they're just doing what they have been doing or what was done to them. So it's not that they're doing it on purpose. It seemed fine. I was left at home when I was 3 and I turned out okay. So I should be able to leave my kids home at 4. That's the older than I was. That's the rationale you hear sometimes with these parents. Why they
child protective services.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be honest, I was at the home early, but I had to watch
the end of what you said, because you controlling your mute button, we didn't hear.
I had to watch the kids like 5.
Oh, okay.
What you say? I'm sorry, I missed
She said she had to watch other kids at 5.
Right.
Well, I wasn't 5. It was 5 kids. I was like 10, 11. It was
I heard it wrong too.
I'm sorry, 5 kids.
And you know what? That's very tough. I remember my brother and I had to watch my 3 little sisters, and I distinctly remember having a football game and having the whole school bus wait outside of our home, waiting for our mom to get home to get the kids so that we can go to the game. And I remember the coach, is she here yet? I mean, obviously she's not. You didn't see her pull up. Like, you would know before me. But I just remember feeling like, God, I wish she'd her come home with these kids so we can go to the game, And it was like, it was just terrible. Like, why are we watching these kids? And having the whole football team, because we were good, so they needed it. So whole bus out front of our
tall,
house.
slim chocolate.
Right.
Listen, say, everybody be quiet.
They couldn't go without him.
Oh God, he changed his whole energy. Oh wait, she said it. Wait.
Hey, yeah, you know. What'd you say?
A whole mess.
That's an important point, because we will, or people will say that they've changed, or they're changing the generational curses, because they didn't leave their kids home alone at 5. Their kids were 7.
They see right, but it's the same effect.
Yes, it's the same effect, but they think that they're changing something.
Well, they are, because if you figure 30 years, the kids will be 12 at home. So every year is 2 years. So it's a progression, slow progression, but we have to be strength based. We got reward the good. No, no, it is true. I hear it all the time. They'll use something that was done to them, and it wasn't done at the same time. Yes. So it doesn't seem. I'm not as bad as my mom. I was 3. Yep. They're 7. Yep. See the difference? No, I don't see the difference.
And then they don't recognize the emotional disconnect that is not being shaped, formed, or cared for. Or they don't see which ones they are doing. They're creating self-esteem issues. They're creating abandonment, resentment, like all of those other things that tend to boil in a pot, that the pot is going to boil over at some point. And I remember my brother saying, I didn't have another child, you did. And if you don't come home in time, like, she gonna be home by herself. And he had to threaten my mom for my mom to be like, okay, is he really serious? He was serious. Like, he ain't have another kid. Like, we 9 years apart. You better handle that.
And I think that emotional disconnect comes when nobody makes them think about it. So when, you hear, well, I was 5 and my kid is 7, you have to ask, like, well, how did you feel about that?
Right. At 5.
How were you feeling when you had to watch all your siblings? You were 10 and you couldn't go outside and play.
But again, that's just normal. I didn't feel any type of way, right? Because that was normal. I didn't look at it as being.
People do. When you ask
some
those
people
questions,
may.
Sometimes they're able.
And you don't do it now with your daughter now.
When you ask those questions, though, sometimes
I don't do half the stuff I've done to me now.
They're able to connect and go back and say to you, well, I wanted to go outside and play.
Right. But does that mean you really, you understand the effects of it? Meaning, I know I would rather do other things, but this is what I have to do. Right. So it becomes like, oh, you make it okay. You make it normal. You make it like, look, well, I can't really go out like this. I wish I could go out. Dang, I want to go to movies with y'all, but I got to babysit my sisters. We still did it. And I think, like you said, you start to, some people may, somebody may not, but you start to separate the feelings of hurt and pain from it because it happens so much. It's because if you hurt and pain all the time, you're going to be stuck there. You're going to be upset every time. So, like I said, you kind of suppress that part, and it's just normal. And then when you get to go out, you get to go out. When you don't, you don't. Because even now, sometimes I think like, hey, I had to raise my brothers and sisters, and it's a badge of honor that I had to do it, which is weird. I know better, but it's still, you got to work through that and make,
So is it a distorted view or distorted experience in regards to what the expectation should be, or does it just become the norm until we choose to do something different with our wellness?
The norm until we learn that it's wrong. Most things we don't know is wrong, right? And so I learned this when you remove a kid from a home, right? And it could be I don't care what's going on in that home. That kid a lot of times really doesn't know how wrong it is or that it's wrong until they go somewhere else and like they get to learn that you're supposed to eat every day. You're supposed to
this not normal.
Have water. You're supposed to have these things. So when you start learning, so now when you take this child and put them back in an environment that now like, this is not right, Mom. I'm not supposed to not eat today. I'm not supposed to only have bread. They didn't know it was wrong until they got into a situation and learned this is not life, right? So until you come up to see something different, that's not really wrong, right? This is just what it is. For me, moving from one neighborhood to the next, from a urban area to a very rural area, it was a culture shock because I can leave my bike on the front porch. You know, I can walk down the street without nobody trying to get my Jordans. The peace you get from just being able to walk down the street, hello, and not worry about anything, hear birds chirping, is a lot different than you got new Jordans on and you walking home looking who gonna knock you in your head for them. It's a big difference. But I didn't know that this was a problem. That, like, you know, the only problem is I need to get home before I get knocked in the head. Before I knew this whole environment was wrong. Like, this was not how we were supposed to grow up. Right. I didn't know that I was in crisis until you get to a place where you're not and you feel relief for the first time. Like, wow, this is what it feels like not to have to worry about certain things. So I think you need to experience something sometimes to know that maybe that wasn't the best way to do it. Some things.
I would agree with that.
So I think, I guess just, you know, kind of revisiting, you know, because people are joining the conversation, wondering what you guys are thinking in regards to what's your touch, what's your experience to wearing the cape, trying to fix like different situations, and have you understood that sometimes when you're apologizing for things that you're doing, that comes from some unresolved grief or loss or neglect in some particular way that you're recreating in new relationships. So we're talking about these different roles, the male and the female, you know, difference. We're talking about children, but then also talking about how it is that we can sustain from reframing what is practical or distorted views. We want to hear from you as well. Like, what are your thoughts? You know, because we can go in, as you know. But we want to make sure that this is a beneficial and balanced conversation for those who are with us now or even on the replay.
So, how is it for you guys? How is it for you guys in your cape wearing? You know, are you guys aware of it? Oh, is it different? Like, what does it look like for you?
You didn't do what you normally do, Daryl.
What do I normally do?
You normally, when you ask us
a question, not for you guys, not you guys, this your friend, not you guys. But for this time, I really want to kind of get how does it affect you guys, this cape wearing thing? Because we don't get to ask you guys sometimes how you're feeling and what's going on with you, and we want to make sure you're good as well.
Okay.
I can say that in this iteration, this chapter of my life now, like my birthday was in December. That's usually when I do like a reset reflection on what it is that I learned and how it is I want to live moving forward. I can say in the last 3 to 4 years, I've been like revamping and kind of understanding how it is that I show up in the world. And so as I go to each level of elevation, the purpose of me wearing a cape becomes more clear for me to know what it is that I gotta like let go of. And in the process of learning what I have to let go of, sometimes it's very painful because you've always thought that certain values or people or practices was going to be with you throughout all of your life. But you realize that some of those people who have been instrumental for those different seasons are not necessarily going to see you through the next few seasons that you're going through. So being able to take that cape off and being available in those situations to the people who are not serving like at your ambition level and higher is a game changer, because you easily can default to what has been comfortable and what you know, versus and always in competition or in debate around, do I really need to level up? Do I really need to do something different? Or can I just stay here? Because this middle part of being where I am and where I want to go, like, it's painful and uncomfortable. So sometimes people stay wedded to the dysfunction of the cape wearing because it's easy.
Right.
I would agree with that.
You said you wouldn't?
I said I would agree with that because so with everything. Oh, I'm sorry. You done? Or you still going?
I'm good. You can go.
Okay, so with everything that happened, it's just worse than it really is. So I know, just with the cake wearing, people didn't know how to respond to me because my grandma died the same day I had the baby. But it's so much deep generational secrets and generational. It's like a lot of stuff that's just unfolded. So my cousins and like cousins specifically, we grew up like siblings that I helped raise. They're like, oh, I didn't know that I was being neglected until now. They're like 35. So what Daryl was talking about earlier, it affects me to where the cake wearing, like when he mentioned about, oh, you wanted to go outside, you wanted to go do this. I know when I hit 13, I really wanted to go to the movies. I was allowed to go. I just had to wait till somebody watched my siblings. So what I did, I started taking my siblings with me. You know how movies have that like 13 and above, 17 and above, or just rated R? And then I know when my mom got back home one time and she was like, you took her to see such and such. I said, I'm tired of not being able to hang out with my friends. If I'm a watcher, she gonna go where I go. So I said, I covered her eyes. So just that cake wearing that I was responsible enough to take my sister to, like back in the day, they had the $2 movies. Once they can drop down from the real movies, you know what I'm saying? I was responsible enough to take care of her. And I was like, I called somebody to come pick us up for a ride, and I had everything. It was just like I felt, but that was dysfunction. I felt so like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm doing it. And so I recognize that all the time. I feel like I'm real successful, like in just my personal, like I'm getting it done, I'm doing it. But then if my ankles, I have this indicator, like if my ankles start to hurt when I lay down, I did too much. So just being able to, it's funny, but just being able to pass stuff off to who it should go to. So just recognizing that, and I recognized I was like, okay, I'm gonna do better for myself the next day. Today is about to be over. I have to. So I think it's like it's perpetuality. It's like a cycle of dysfunction. So I've had to like cut people off, even more people. But that's the only way that I can function without the dysfunction and toxicity. I don't know any way others, and it's so painful and hurtful. But sometimes you just gotta. Even it's family though. Sometimes you just gotta like separate yourself from that. So I would just say I feel even when I was like 13, I wouldn't even think about kids. Maybe when I got like 20s, I was like, oh, I want one kid or none. And I was like, oh, I know how I used to tell people I already know how I want to parent once I have kids. If I have more than one or have none. I've been a mother and cousin, a mother and sister, a mother and daughter. I have this thing about nurturing and mothering other people. And yeah, I would say I took a stance about 2 or 3 years ago. I can't mother any other adults. I only mother my own kids. So, so that's has always been.
Doc, it's your turn.
Is it?
Yes. Carol is awaiting. It's your turn.
Or he has been tracking
Well, for me, the cape wearing has really influenced my ability to be real about my own pain. So it often involves me keeping my pain to myself to protect the people that I care about. As unhealthy as that is, you know, and I thought it was more about me showing strength when it really is about protection and not wanting to disappoint, if you will.
Absolutely.
Because I'm the one who everyone comes to. So how can I be falling apart if I'm supposed to hold everything else together? So that it shows up for me in that way. And so I am starting to get to a point where I am able to talk about my pain with a few select people. But I have come to the conclusion that that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough. I really need to be comfortable, just in general, to say, you know, look, I got to take care of me. I got this, and this going on. You're going to have to manage your own shit.
Just like that.
Just like that. Just like that.
Just like that.
Yes. And because I'm in a caregiver role every single day,
mm-hmm.
I think it's even more important for me to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Because
I'm absorbing so much of other people's pain all day long that I do need to take care of myself better. I know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can't feel guilty about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't pretend that it's not a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't care if I can't give a fuck if you got a problem with
it. Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first. Ruth, thank you for rocking it out and joining us this evening. As your friend was like, I can't give a fuck no more about the people. Kent wants me to share for you. Thanks.
Are we popping comments on the screen or am I missing them?
You was looking the other way, so like
okay.
Yeah, you still kind of looking the other way.
You trying? Well, listen, I was trying to look up some stats real fast because I had a question of with the CAPE. I was wondering what percentage of people, melanated people, are in the social work field.
Did you see the articles that I sent you to?
I'm your friend. I'm your friend as well. I'm your friend as well. So correct that and write woohoo. Daryl is on a roll as well, my friend. Okay, let's fix that. That was a typo. Daryl is Darrelldok. That's wrong. You spelled it wrong. So just fix that. Fix that for me real quick.
And Ruth, all we gotta do to reset them is be like, it's a tall, slim chocolate with locks.
Hey, listen. Everybody be quiet while she's speaking.
And then we have to remember Kent has locks too, and I get partial credit for mine.
Mary, you just made a beast.
So,
a beast.
The social tropes is real. Why's mine gotta be fake?
Right.
They look real right now.
Sure
okay.
Do.
Look at your greeting, Daryl.
Okay. Hey, Ruth, I told you, we go way back. way back.
I like that. Chocolate brother. I like that.
You know what I mean? Listen. Okay, Ruth. I always like Ruth. You know, I always like her.
I'm going to add a part chocolate, brother.
Chocolate.
Yes.
Chocolate.
Mary, no, I did not get to the article.
I got you.
And I was looking for it when I came here. On the way here to set up, and I couldn't find it, and I found some other things. But we'll get, can you give me? Well, so anyway, what was the number of people, melanated people in social work? It looked like only about 22%.
Okay, that sounds about right.
That does.
And then psychology is even less.
Right, but then
as a psychologist,
but
yeah,
right, that's even less. But even that is a majority of women. Right. So in the social work field, it's mostly melanated women. In our 22%, I'm speaking just for us. So again, their CAPE is on again. And I was wondering, even with you guys, did that kind of help push you to your choice of profession?
This dude.
I think so.
That's a hard question.
I think so. I mean, I knew since the 8th grade.
Right.
What field I was going into. And even back then, I was giving advice to friends.
There you go. Right.
And I was a mediator. My parents separated and divorced when I was 5, 6.
Oh, wow.
And then when I was a teenager and it would be supposed to be daddy-daughter day to go shopping. But yet they would be having these long drawn out conversations. I'm like, I thought y'all supposed to be mad at each other. Like,
was the door closed when they was having these conversations?
No, it wasn't that type of conversation. They were friendly with each other. After 16 years of marriage, like they got divorced because they couldn't get along.
Gotcha.
But I was a mediator, was why I mentioned that. Like I always was in the middle trying to navigate. My brother didn't agree with my dad. I was the mediator to make sure that they knew how each other were doing all the way through my graduation from undergrad. I was on pins and needles for my graduation because that was their first time being together in celebration of me. But I was like, it was about to be a firecracker somehow going off because they don't mesh. So yes, I can say, I mean, I've done like conversations around this. My grandmother was in healthcare. My mom was in social services and healthcare. And so it was only right, me as the actually fifth Mary in our family, but that all of us are in some kind of social services, healthcare, behavioral health, something.
And I even see, I know for me, I know my mother, she owned a Goodwill store. But it was weird because, I mean, she gave away so many clothes to everybody. I don't know how they made any money. But she would take care of everybody. Like, she just would give. If you needed, even I remember it was great for me because I know if I knew people had problems, I would just go to her, get whatever. Oh, you had a baby? Here, here's everything you need. You know, crib, diapers, clothes, everything, because everything came through there. And then, you know, seeing that, like, she was always there for everybody else, kind of made me want to help people as well. So I see her doing it, I have to help. You know, she was always helping somebody. It was so that's just common for me now. But I noticed now, even with this conversation, like my cape came from her cape. You know, like I just took it over and went, hey, I took her cape. But it's amazing, like, if you really see, you know, cause think about it, even with like Sunday dinners was the big thing at Big Mama's house, right? That was a time that Big Mama got everybody together to talk and get that was another way. She didn't realize she was having a session. Right. You're having a session. Everybody get to talk, and some things come up, good things, bad things, but it's keeping the family together. The melanated woman has been thrust into this position where they have to hold everything together. If you really think about it, they're really at the center of everything. And it's got to be tiring, it's got to be tough, but there's no where I see it lightening up. Like, the load is not being lightened. And again, at this point, you guys have taken that load and started running with it. So when we try to help lighten it, you're like, I got it. So it's
That's
tough.
Not true.
What?
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to say it's true to the fact that there are a lot of women who will not allow themselves to release the reins for somebody to be a partner for them. But it's also the men falling into the tropes that are assigned to them that they may not always be willing to step up to do something that they feel is not a male-dominated role.
And sometimes they focus on just providing.
That's not true.
You sit where you sit, and I sit where I sit.
Woo.
Exactly. See, this is where we go. See that strong black woman that just came out? Did you hear that tone? See, that's what I'm talking about. See that tone? I didn't have that tone when I said it. But this is how things happen. Now you're the angry, right? But now this is that angry black woman, right?
But I'm not angry.
That can do it on her own. No, I'm not saying you get defensive. I said, no, this is how it comes about, right? This is when they now use that trope. Oh, see how angry she is. No, so it's tough because anything you do, it's like a lose-lose situation, right? But no, I think that, like, in any situation, and I'm going from my perspective, right? As a man, knowing women it's really difficult for them to let go, especially if they've been doing it a while, to let go that control, which I understand. If you've been doing it for a long time, it's hard See, Ruth, we were just doing good. We're doing good. And then you go.
We're still doing good.
So, but I see. Just think about it. It's just almost something that's learned, right? It's hard to unlearn things. So when you get in a relationship, it's definitely difficult for you to unlearn doing everything on your own. I don't care how much you say you want to change, and you may want to, but for you to actually change, takes time and effort, and it's hard because, like I said, when that person doesn't take the trash out one time when you wanted them to, I ain't gonna ask them why I do it myself. You snap back into that, I got it. Mm-hmm. And then that makes me snap back into, I'm gonna let you have it. Right. So we're back to where we were in the beginning, where we feel that you can do everything, and I'm gonna let you do everything because I don't want to hear your mouth about how I do it or not do it, or what I'm saying. So that's the problem. So for me, I see a lot where it's hard and I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's right, but I understand it's hard for you to stop and trust me after so long of doing it. And you're like, like you said, Mary, that last guy, he wasn't able to step up to the table when he said he was going to. But now you're putting it on me, and I'm getting the repercussions of what he did. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to turn me into him, because I'm like, well, I see why he didn't do it, because you want some other stuff. Do it yourself, strong black woman, black magic. Black magic.
Please stop. You know what? Like, I can think about probably only. Well, I know for a fact for me and my experiences, and not to say that dictates for everybody, but it's only been one person really that was able to create that balance of, okay, I know you set this stuff out to eat, and you're not cooking because apparently you're laying down and taking a minute. How can I, how were you preparing it a certain way? Did you have an idea about it? And I can say, I really didn't know, or I was thinking of sauteing and this, that, and the third. And when I decided to come from my reprieve or my reset, dinner was already prepared. Because they stepped up and stood in the gap. Whereas other people like, okay, well, how long you need this reset? Cause we hungry. Listen, there's Uber Eats. It's 2022. And if you're really hungry, get some food in the refrigerator, you just want something that is prepared for you. And today ain't the day.
So is that how you would frame that to me? There's Uber Eats? Because I'm pretty sure that's going to be an Uber argument. Uber argument because of Uber Eats. I'm just letting you know.
No, I'm not necessarily going to frame it that way. I just was using that as an example, in regards to how that emotionality or that commitment or that balance can happen with, instead of just assuming that the one person who has the role in your mind and following those social tropes is supposed to do certain things to keep the relationship glued together. Sometimes, those roles don't have to be so traditional or transactional.
You're right.
But it's not the roles as much as your communication. If you communicate to me listen, I'm not cooking every night. I know I did, but as things are right now, I just can't because of work and this, that, and next. When you start having conversations like that, and that tone outside of an argument, then I think it can be heard. And I think things can change at that point. If things don't change when you're having a conversation like that, then there's some other things that need to go on, right? But I think that if you can express yourself in a way to listen, you know what, I know I've been doing all the cooking, but I started working longer hours. I can't get home and cook at this point. What can we do?
So but if your thought process is, this is my role, and now he's going to feel like I'm abandoning it, and you're going to just continue to keep trying, even though dinner is one potato, you're going to still keep trying every night. Because
you ain't really trying with one potato.
Or it may be a loaded baked potato.
You have this idea in your mind. Right, that could be a whole everything. You have to keep doing this.
Well, I know I've set alarms to everybody in the house. So whoever gets up first to do it, I guess that's who it falls on.
But that took a communication tool to even get people to realize that this is what it is, or this is how it exists. Or when the alarm goes off, it means it's time for whatever next thing, there's been a communication that's happened, a conversation or a message board or a text message, something.
Or to invite everybody, put it on your calendar.
Right. But then a lot of people, if I'm sitting in the role of a therapist and I say, do you have a shared calendar that communicates what appointments you have, when is date night, when is this, I always get the weird look, like a shared calendar. No, you could just ask me. No, you're not always approachable when I might have an idea of a concert or a date,
you may be tired,
or I might just be tired
from work, or you just don't feel like talking.
People need to know their partners, first of all, right? And know how. Again, we have to learn how to communicate with our partner. We can't communicate for ourselves. If we're talking the way we want to talk, the person might not receive that, right? So we have to learn how to effectively communicate with our partner, right? So it might not be alarms. Like, that works for camp. That's great. It shows that this works in our house. That might not work in my house, right? So we have to find out what works in we got to find out how to communicate with each other to get whatever done, right? Because if not, we're just talking for no reason.
I know, but it's like you said, goes back to knowing your partner, because it was just like, I asked for beans and rice for lunch. He came back with a whole veggie platter with beans and rice. I was like, oh, this is hot. You know me. But of what I would get. So I think it's just like you said, it goes back to that. Because it's trial and error. It takes forever. You can be somebody 20 years and don't know diddly squat.
Well, I don't know. If you don't know diddly squat for 20 years, there's been a lot of missed opportunities.
You know something, but it takes a while. People change, and it takes a while to get to the flow. That's what I'm saying.
No, I get it. You're right. And both people have to be willing to learn, right? You know, learning and not stop learning. Because I think Mary said it one time before, where you change over time, right? And you have to learn through the changes. Right? As I change, I may be different. I may not like seafood anymore. So you bring me seafood every day, and wonder why I'm mad because I want the seafood, and you don't see I'm not eating it. Again, listen, there's something going on. So we have to actually learn, read cues, nonverbal and verbal, and try to do the best we can. We have to be present every day. And I think a lot of times we're not present because we get into the dullness of life, the humdrumness, and we kind of know what's going to happen. So we're not present, and we're missing a lot of things that are going on. We're missing that person is not themselves. They haven't been themselves for 2 years because we're not, we're just pushing on. So we have to really know our partners and know ourselves as well to say, listen, hey, I don't like that anymore. And be comfortable enough to say that.
So when you mentioned food, it made me think about how over time, you may become either like where you just don't like a certain dish, or you may become allergic to a certain dish, or you've been told medically that this dish doesn't do your body well, but it's your favorite dish of your partner. You feel obligated to still make that and being present, but then it's like, okay, now I got to make something totally separate. And not to say that shouldn't happen, but it needs to be a conversation on how we create balance with recognizing that if one person's eating regimen changes, that impacts the entire house, which also impacts the entire relationship, because now certain restaurants that we went to before we can't go to, certain things that we prepared we can't go to. And it's not to throw in my face that my body has now transitioned into this health concern. It's to recognize that, okay, we are growing differently, and it really is a benefit that we learned this early before I passed away.
Right. Or that position when you put my leg over my head, I don't like that no more.
Right. That too.
That position ain't working for me no more. Right? Yeah, we had 7 years of that position. Can we try something new? How about the swing? Yeah, where's the swing at? Like, let's try something different, because it got me there then, but it's not now.
Right.
Do you realize that I'm not there anymore? Do you see I'm not responding the same way anymore? Like, hello. So we have to recognize these things.
And of course, we had to always get back to the vitamin D shots. Of course,
we got to, because it's like, and I learned this from Mary. Yeah, I know from Mary, because now she's not into it. She don't want to do it. Now it's been 2 weeks. They're not wanting to engage, and you're like, hey, what's up? It's been 2 weeks.
Because you can do it the same way every time, and it's boring.
Right. For her, it's 6 years. It's been 6 years. Right? I'm tired.
I need a chandelier in my life.
Right, or sleep. I'd rather sleep than do the same thing over and over again. Right. So we have to, again, that's where being present is very important.
But it's the vulnerability that it takes to be present is sometimes like mentally taxing and exhausting, because it's like, are you hearing me? And is it going to happen the very next time that I try to show up the way that you've asked me to show up? And it's not, because you got to build muscle, just like when you're working out in the gym or you working out, to do whatever. That muscle that you saw in the magazine that you're trying to work for is not going to come from one workout. It's not going to come from 3 workouts. It's going to come over time. So if you're trying to build a better communication blueprint that doesn't have you defaulting into this cape wearing or protectiveness or feeling like you got to fix something, it's going to take time to kind of learn my partner and learn what works for us. If it's the chandelier or from whatever, like, you got to be consistent in how it is that you show up on a day-to-day basis.
And I think we have to give, and kind of, I think really saying what you're saying too, we have to give credit when there's an attempt. I think that's very important.
That's hard to do.
When someone is trying to do something that you ask, again, that's not normal to them, and it may not be easy for them to consistently do. But if you give them credit for trying, I think that helps a lot. That helps them a lot to try it again.
I agree with you. It's just hard when the attempt goes flat, way flat.
Because then it's rejection. So instead of just saying we got to learn in a different way of doing it, you're stuck on, I was rejected when I tried to do something different.
Mute Doc Mary, please. She turned her camera off, but I don't think she muted herself.
Okay, got you.
Oh yeah, I see that now. Well, not so much rejection, just that sometimes I don't think of it as rejection. I think about just disappointment. But it takes multiple times to get it together. It's not going, like you said, to be overnight.
It can be rejection as well, right? Because if
you
try to do something,
right?
So, right. So either one, you're right. It can be looked at as both ways. But I just want to, it can be looked at as rejection because you're like, yo, I'm trying it. You're not even right, and that's a problem. You know what I mean? Women need to learn to give credit earlier.
Why you had the default to women though? Like, it is both partners need to learn how to give credit earlier.
But it's harder for women to.
Who's the ones complaining all the time? It ain't the men
because y'all
complaining all the time.
No,
but it's harder.
Y'all don't care.
But it's harder for women to say anything a man is right about anything. It's hard for us. It's harder, I think.
Right, because this is where your egos come into play.
Women will
about your egos.
Put their nails on the chalkboard, like
I gotta be act before ego. A big ego.
But the ego is competing with the male ego, and it's like we shouldn't even be competing.
But
we are.
Males,
melanated men and women are.
I will say males are more willing to buckle down, even if they are right. They be like, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. But women, we can't do that. We so in the thing. I have to be right. Gotta have last word. Gotta be right. You can't even. I saw a post about somebody's like, my husband is right, but it's wrong. It's hard for me to tell him he's right.
Well, I think that's both sides. I see, and I'm looking for the male perspective. I know it's tough for us to apologize as well. Tough stuff, because we think that being a man means being right, being in control.
Being a man means never having to say you're sorry.
Right. Being a man means you're gonna come every time. I'm saying, so what it means. No, so I think that as I know men have the issue too of saying sorry or saying they're wrong or that way. So it's both of us. We're very adversarial, really, to be honest. We're melanated anyway. We're very adversarial against each other, which is tough. So we're in this relationship with someone who we don't make space for right or wrong in there. We're both right. And we're a lot of times unwilling to budge. That's a big problem.
Yes.
And sometimes for the stereotypes in which men fall into, those negative associations become exaggerated in regards to creating balance or getting acceptance or not being in denial in some particular way.
Tell me more, Mary.
Oh, well, let's see. In this article, in the Tall Slim Chocolate person.
Hey, everybody, listen up. Listen up.
Can we move on to the article?
Oh, goodness. In the article, it says that the most discussed pattern between Black males is usually from like a criminality, like on TV. So it's like when it comes to talking about them from an emotional standpoint, they're not seen. They're seen as threatening. They're seen as being positioned, as being compared from a melanated standpoint. If they're not melanated, they're not seen in that way. Right. And then also how melanated people are overrepresented as perpetrators. So it's like, again, how can they be this loving and sensational individual if, in fact, every time you look at them, you're thinking about how they're going to come at you or attack you or something in that regard. And so because of that, it's a disproportionate representation on how we even see men being able to step up to the plate, like in general.
Right.
And it's like more so like in the urban areas as opposed to the rural areas that we feel this way. So then when it comes to building the relationships, it's like, okay, what are we building a relationship from?
Right. And a big thing is that, a woman wants to feel safe, and sometimes they don't feel like we can protect them. So we can't protect ourselves if you see us getting killed every moment and killing each other. So, bro, you can't even protect us because you can't protect yourself. And that's what's being, perpetuated, which doesn't allow a woman, especially a melanated woman, to count on you. I can't count on you. I don't know if you're going to be here for a plethora of reasons.
So I got to keep wearing my cape because you might not be here.
Right.
That's right.
I can't take this. I can't even change out of my Superman costume. I have to stay on all the time. Because the second I don't, I can, get myself into trouble because I'm trusting in you. And again, it goes back to even, again, it all goes back to, where we couldn't even protect ourselves when either we were here or got here. I don't know, Mary, said we're here already. So either one, if we're here or we got here.
I said we're here already.
We're here already. So
like Mary made that up. Like she made that up.
Listen, I don't know. We got to go into that more because I don't know. I don't know how this took over everything. But anyway, whether we're here or brought here, whatever the case may be.
Oh, we was here already. Okay, yeah, that's another conversation.
Yes,
please, because
but we was here already.
Please.
See, Camp said it. We was here already.
Listen,
I know my history.
Camp said it. You're right. Now I believe it now.
No. I think
you ain't got to believe nothing.
She's agreeing with the history that she knows.
Listen,
we was in the DMV area, strong. DC, Maryland area. That's why DC is on Maryland's ground.
Okay.
We just got taken over.
We did.
We got taken over and just
illiteracy all the time.
Illiteracy okay. All right. Hey, whatever.
Another conversation for a different day.
Yeah, we gotta have that one. Hey, we're parking lot that one. But either way, we obviously we couldn't protect them if we were here and they came.
Don't say amen because Christianity is not ours either. But anyway.
Well, not because of that.
It kind of is, but it isn't.
It isn't.
Okay. It kind of is because there's nothing new under the sun. So if you look at the story, it's kind of the same.
Oh,
but okay. I mean,
okay, yeah, that's we have to talk.
Yeah.
We'll start. Don't get us talking about the ancient mystery systems.
Right. Listen, we can go back. We can go back. We can talk about it all. I mean, I'm
well equipped, Daryl.
I'm well equipped. I did, and that's why I was saying. Either way it was, I didn't really bring it up and say if we're here or not here. I'm not
Mary
sure.
said we was here.
Because Mary said I wasn't sure. So I'm saying Mary said we were here or brought here. Either way, we couldn't protect anybody. We couldn't protect ourselves. We couldn't protect the black woman. The melanated woman. No one could protect anyone. So I don't know when she had faith in the melanated man in America. I don't know any, outside of maybe before, I guess when we were here. Or not here, I'm not sure. But maybe before we were here. So whatever that was. Whenever how we got in the situation we got into, we couldn't protect. So from that point on, I think there's been a disconnect of safety because you can't protect us. And that's been perpetuated throughout time until now. Right. So that's I see how a melanated woman would not feel totally comfortable, even if it wasn't in the forefront of her mind. It's in there somewhere. Like he may not be, because it's perpetuated so much.
Yes.
And for us, it's perpetuated that they're bees and hoes and this, that, everything we do, that's what it is, right? So we don't have the best view of the melanated woman either, because we talk about them like dogs in every song, and that's what sells, and that's what they're going to put out there, and they're going to keep doing it.
Yes.
And women don't make it no better. Well, and we don't. Not only do we buy it, they're like, "Yeah, I'm that bitch.
It's a beat.
Hot girl summer." So they don't help. They don't help. Well, it's not a beat when they singing the hook. Yeah, I'm a bitch. Whoop that bitch.
But we drop it like it's hot though to that.
Drop it like it's on fire and quick and don't know the alphabet, but can drop it like it's on fire. So these things that we do don't help our cause at all, and it keeps us in an ignorant state. Right, and they know what they're doing. That this is keeping us in an ignorant state. All right, because we're biggest consumers of the ignorance. There's like I said, love and hip hop, all that stuff sells. Anything positive really doesn't sell. Like if most black shows, either gonna be some shucking and jiving, you know what I mean, or some straight buffoonery. The stuff that sells, it goes off the air so quickly.
And just like our conversation, we've been rolling since what, 2020?
Yeah.
Right.
And because we talk about real talk conversations and things that can really influence and help change, but we don't have a full room.
No. But if we were in here talking about hot girl stuff, I bet you it'd be full. Right? If we were in here talking buffoonery, talking about the hot topics of who slept with who, and who's cheating on who, who got locked up.
If we was in here slapping Daryl around. Throwing drinks in his face.
It'd be crazy in here. But
that's a social trope too.
Or if we were in here talking bad about each other. You ain't no good, you this, that, and you'll never be anything, and you're not attractive, and you're this and that. That would sell. That would definitely blow up, because anything that's negative, we are so used to negative that we just feed on it. The more negative, the better. And we call for it, because even with some of these shows that are negative and talking down on people, thousands of people are calling to talk to them. These people that are talking crazy to them. So that's about us and our abuse and how we like these trauma bonds. We want trauma. Hey, you have a whole bunch of trauma in your life. I can hear it through what you're saying. I'm attracted to it, and I want to talk to you. Please talk to me.
People connect to trauma.
Right. Please tell me how bad I am, how whatever I am. It's crazy. But that's the melanated way. And like I said, they have the chain around our brain. I seen something the other day where it was a fence to a driveway, and only half the fence was open, and the people were standing at the bars of the one fence, and they were like, you could just walk around if you wanted to, but they were stuck behind the gate, and they were saying that chain around your brain, you got to read. All you have to do is walk over here and go out, but you were stuck because they got you mentally. They have you, and that's what they have us. Mentally, they have us, and they make us think bad about ourselves and negative about ourselves, and we start celebrating the negativity. Hot girl summer, ow.
Well, they're gonna get all this body. I don't care if it ain't worked out or not.
See, look at that. Hot girl summer. Look at that. Gonna have it out.
Lizzo done made it cool, so
I mean, she has.
Did she?
I'm just joking.
I don't know if she did.
Cheek for cheek.
Literally.
But what I do like is that, you know what, she's herself. Authentically.
Correct.
Is she?
And that's, well, we don't know. That's what I said. I don't know if she has great high self-esteem or low self-esteem.
She's herself.
We don't know. We don't know. But I support her for being out there, and it seems like she's doing what she wants to do for her. So do you? I don't know. That's what I say.
I mean, I think of, and I'm not a necessarily, I'm not. I was gonna try and make it nice. I'm not a Jennifer Hudson fan. And one of the things that And I'm not naysaying her, but I remember in the beginning, look at me. I don't like her. She's from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I'm not a J Hud fan. But I remember in the beginning, they were like really stressing her on losing weight and falling into the norm and all of this different stuff. And in the beginning, she was like, no, I'm not doing that. However, once they grabbed her family and her family's no longer here, that's how I'm going to say that. Now she's following into, okay, I'm going to be slimmer. I'm going, like, she just all of a sudden assigning herself.
But how do we know that's not a choice she made or however made it come to? Or
she even verbally if they did,
said, wait a minute, even if she did do it for the wrong reason to begin, but maybe she's doing it now because she likes the way she feels and looks.
It may not have been that.
Is she supposed to? Did she have to write us and tell us that? Because she doesn't owe us anything.
Lizzo did.
Lizzo didn't. Lizzo only responded because people were responding to her. People were upset with some of the things she did, and she was like, "Well, I'm me. I'm gonna do me." That's why she responded.
Cardi B did.
What did she say?
Cardi B said, "This is who I am, and take me like this. Is my style. Like even though people was like this aggressive, her lifestyle, like they had questions about it. Her music,
again, she was responding to something someone said, so she doesn't owe anybody anything.
My favorite interview with Cardi B is when they was asking her about the work she had done, and they asked her about getting her boobs done. She was like, "Yeah, I got my titties blowed up." I thought that was so funny. So real, like
authentic. Even Doc likes the buffoonery at times.
At times, yes, at times.
As long as you have a nice, healthy dose of it. But again, I think even them, they were answering questions, but I don't think anybody owes you anything. I don't think she has to tell you why she did it, as long as she's doing it. So even we'll look at Monique. She said when she did it, people were like, "Oh, you was with the fat girls. You like the fat girls at one point, and the fat girl, and now you got slim." And she's like, I wanted to get healthy. Right? I wanted to get healthy. I'm doing this now because I want to be here longer. So even if someone went into it with the wrong reason to be, I didn't know J Hud's history of why she got slim. I didn't know she got slim, right? I didn't know why. But if she's doing it now because she likes the way she looks, then I don't see a problem with anyone, even if they were doing it for the wrong reason in the beginning, right? I don't know.
Right. I just think
so. I don't want to shame anybody for being in shape and make them feel like them being in shape is a problem.
So I hope you didn't hear me saying that because I wasn't shaming.
No. Not saying you. I'm just saying I hope people don't understand. Just because someone does lose weight, like I said, even if they did it in the beginning for the wrong reasons, because I only stay in shape because I want people to see this sexy body for the summer. I'm not sure that's the right reason. It's my reason, okay?
That's your reason.
This body is made to show, okay? I do this to show. It's definitely not for me, because if it was for me, I would just be 900 pounds. It's for you guys. All you out there who like the chocolate.
That argument is so interesting. I've heard so many different points about this weight loss thing.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I've heard people who are, I don't know, I won't say in shape because I don't know what that means for everybody.
Right. Everybody's
right.
So I've heard subjective. People say, they are a certain weight and they've gotten a perfect bill of health from their doctor.
Right.
So,
but then there's some people who are petite that also have medical issues.
Bad health.
Very bad health.
Right. A number does not signify. It does not say you're healthy or not healthy. That's let's get away from that. That doesn't mean that at all, right?
Yes.
And I do believe in you should like what you see in the mirror, and you should be doing it for you.
Yes.
Right. Even though I'm doing it for you, all you out there. But no, really, you should. I say don't look at numbers. Look in the mirror. Look how your clothes feel, and you should like what you see in the mirror.
Yes.
And if someone's making you feel bad about what you see in the mirror, get away from them.
Yes.
Right? Because that's not what you need. Right. Yes. You don't need anybody. That if you're loving yourself and they're like, I don't like that because of whatever, that's their issue. Get away from that. Get someone who loves you for you.
So then how would you say that the social media tropes or the social tropes feed into the Barbie doll image that we had growing up?
I don't know about growing up.
I know one thing. Barbie ain't had no Barbie doll. So I don't know why somebody want to look like her.
Right, I'm about to say Barbie ain't even. She ain't had no butt in there. Right? What we're looking at. So I don't.
No, we couldn't find no private parts.
If we talk about the black Barbie and her transformation and how it, yeah. So now that is real because if you look, like you can go and shop, you go shop on Instagram right now and find that almost perfection. People are going out and getting these perfect bodies, right? And that's making it tough, right? Right. Barbie looks a mess. What Barbie? We talking about Ken and Barbie? Oh, we talking about black Barbie because there's a difference. Ken and Barbie definitely a mess.
But it took us to even get to black Barbie.
It depends on your idea of perfection too. Like who the hell says they're perfect?
There is an idea of perfection.
Most people, most people that see them, see how many likes they get. So millions of people are saying this is what they want. But that's the problem.
But they don't talk about the trope of the white man living off of Barbie. He ain't never have his own car. She had the Corvette. She was taking care of him.
She had everything.
She had everything. But because now you add that into the black influential social trope, it's a problem. Or but you've been doing it with Barbie all these years.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see Ken not having no damn job and just
riding showed up in shorts to hang out. But Barbie had the band.
Barbie had like 10 different uniforms.
Barbie had the picnic.
Well, that's because didn't Ken come a lot later than Barbie? I mean, that's his timing.
Because
it's about Barbie. You can't make Ken the focal point when it's called Barbie.
Because they can't be single forever. They have to get to the social construct of being in a relationship.
And all Ken came with was a pair of shorts
and a jacket.
And
no penis. They look the same down there. But again, that it's funny. I didn't think about that. If we look at that, even that if we look at it, it showed she had everything, and she just added this man to it.
He didn't have shit.
Nothing.
She just added him to it. Right, so already she had everything. She was already caping. I got you, Ken. Hop in this Barbie truck, and we got the Barbie plane, we got the Barbie house, and we have. I don't think they even made a car or anything for Ken.
No.
How about? And they also
he was the ride along.
He was the ride along. So let's even go even further. When they decided to add the melanated cultures ain't got no Ken.
They do. He just Ken, but darker.
Where's Ken at? I ain't never seen a melanated Ken.
Definitely now they have them. It's just the same Ken, but they make them darker.
I've seen the melanated male.
Yeah, they have them. They have the kids. Yeah. They have the kids and everything. But he the melanated kids. I bought some for my daughter at a certain time. Yeah, but he definitely don't have a job. I think he's like homeless Ken.
More than a job.
Homeless Ken Rakeem, something like that. I think his name Rakeem.
So you're playing house with the Barbie dolls, further informing how people learn these social tropes that they're going to now model in their adult lives.
But when the melanated Ken show up, he got somewhere to stay because he's staying with.
He comes with a ski mask. The melanated Ken comes with a ski mask and a gun.
Okay, but the melanated Ken in real life can't just show up and move in because the melanated woman then signed up for all of these programs that say as long as you keep the black man out, then you can get all of these.
Well, let's get away from even that, right? Because I outside the program and stuff, the melanated woman already usually has her stuff together. Outside the program, she might just have the program called a job, and then they're coming in being couch surfing. That's what y'all call it, couch surfing.
It's called homo. It's a homeless sexual something. Homeless. What is the word called? Whatever. We'll remember it. It's something about hobo something. Like you jumping from one couch to the other. Yeah.
That's you doing the winter.
Yeah, because now in the summer you living your best life.
But again, that's still something that takes two people to do, right? It's two people to engage in that type of behavior.
Correct.
If you have someone on your couch, you have to let them be on your couch, right? And I mean, if this the third dude, this is the third year you have somebody on your couch. At a certain point, that's you.
But it's that emotional connection that you're looking for that you get from the presence of the being, but not necessarily that they have the capability to do what you need.
Right. But it's only so many times you can punch me in my face, so I'm gonna move. So you can't
Everybody
keep laying
ain't
on my couch.
You in the face.
Well, I'm saying if you keep laying on my couch and it don't last forever and they leave, then at a certain point you got to change something up, right? Or you're gonna keep saying it's them. That's my thing. A lot of times we don't take onus or accountability.
Ownership of what we're doing.
We keep blaming. I know for men, oh, she crazy.
You attract what you are.
Damn, that's the 13th crazy girl you had. You know, only thing they had in common was you. Is it them or you? Like at a certain point, you got to stop saying it's everybody else and say, there's something wrong with my couch, right? There's something wrong with me. I can't keep attracting crazy
the same
people,
type of people,
right? Or maybe they're not crazy. Maybe it's me. So at a certain point, people have to start looking at themselves and saying, like, look,
let's do something different this year.
Right, let me do something different. How about I go get help before I engage in anything else? Let me try to fix what's wrong with me so I can stop. Maybe I'm breaking these people, right?
Or how about the next time somebody can't tell you where they live, you keep walking.
Right.
Right. That's a good one, Dad.
Right.
That's a good one.
Because I think now I think about it, when that person doesn't tell you where they live, you're like, oh, cape on, I'm going to help him.
Yeah.
I'm going to help him.
Yes.
I'm going to get him on his feet and clean him up and get him ready for the next woman. And that's what happens a lot of times.
And
I think that's part of it.
That don't lead to marriage either. That just leads to somebody else taking care of them or somebody being the person that you wanted to be for that person.
Okay, so another experience or thought is that I remember somebody was at Wawa, hungry, allegedly, and needed something to eat, and asked for money. I'm not giving money, but I'll order you something to eat. And just the gesture of ordering him something to eat, well, you look like I can help out with you with no, I'm just sharing the love that you said you was hungry, and we're gonna order this food that you want, and you're gonna go and get it, and I'm going to leave and go on my way. They took that gesture as it was like, oh yeah, you're homeless, and now no. Like what? I don't know what energy that I was putting off because I was trying to get my money ready to go on a trip, and you in the way of me trying to process whatever it is I'm about to do. I just felt like the universe told me I needed to buy you something to eat. He took that into that was his gate key to say, oh, I could come with you. No.
Yeah, but there are those women who wouldn't have left it at that. That I'm just buying you something to eat.
Right. Like Mary, that worked before on somebody. That worked before.
Yes.
He probably just got back out there. He's been out there for 2 weeks. And he's trying to get his next one.
That is crazy because I saw a TikTok video about that happening, and she bought the man something to eat, and she said, "Come with me. I'm gonna keep you for a couple. Stay with me for a couple days." She was like, "Oh, now he my baby daddy." What? It was a TikTok whole video, and it was real. I was like, "What? Okay."
I can't. It don't download in my brain like that. Like that download that this quick little $5-7 Wawa hoagie and a beverage and chips is going to sustain you to whatever next you got to do, because it was laid on my heart that that's something I should do in that moment. I don't do that every time because
he was trying to hit the lottery. Listen, I can't get mad at somebody for trying, right? He said, listen, I'm trying to hit a home run.
And it's really just a numbers game.
Yeah.
How many times does he have to do that until somebody bites?
Right. That's crazy. Somebody gonna feel sorry for me and take me home with them.
That's really crazy. I did not expect y'all to co-sign like that. Like,
well, it's not really a co-sign. We're saying that I get somebody trying to go, especially if they see like, oh, she's really nice. She might let me stay with her, right? I can see somebody trying to do it. I'm not saying that you should have did it or he was right. I'm saying that he's shooting his shot, and he's like, a closed mouth don't get fed. And if I can get a sandwich, maybe I can get a couch.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can get a couch.
That's how people be nowadays, just on that too.
So the woman or the man that does that, do they fall into a social trope, social characterization? And
which one? Which one would it be? I don't know that to be a trope that people look for.
I mean, if she's just going out picking up people, she must be the mammy, like caregiver, like just.
I don't know about
maybe
a trope,
I'm
but I think
jumping conclusions. I'm not really trying to. I'm really trying to have a conversation about it. Like,
no, I hear you. I don't think I wouldn't say a trope as much as maybe she would just fall into that, maybe kind of like you said, that caring person that we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. And again, remember, our community is more caring than anybody else. The poor, people who don't have much or comes from less, know what it is to come from less, and don't want to see other people struggle. We help out everybody. There's nobody that we don't help out. We
even when we're lacking.
And even when they've done us wrong, we still gonna do for them.
We attach our struggle to everything: the LGBTQ, the homeless, the people in other countries that need help, kids at the border. Everything we attach ourselves to, because they're like, well, we know struggle, so we should understand. But we gotta understand that we need to stand on our own sometimes. So we haven't taken care of ourselves yet, which is a big reason, I think, why we're not as far ahead as we could be, because we're worried about everybody else first.
But everybody else don't attach themselves to us. But we'd be like,
oh, absolutely not.
Please come over here and support our struggle. We support everybody else. So, like, I agree with that.
Right.
They deplete us. We are depleted. They just take. They want you to sing, dance, act.
Nope.
Be there for them. Take care of them. Do for them. Stay late at work.
We need your votes to get this person in office. We need you to rally your troops up in these areas. We know you can reach them better than we can. They're not going to respect us. They respect you, though, because you're in the community.
Mm-hmm.
We understand. We just saw it where someone is very qualified for a position, but they're asking to see her transcripts.
2 people.
Right.
One in Atlanta and the one that's Supreme Justice.
Right.
But if you look at the presidents, half of them barely graduated from college.
Definitely barely had a 3.0.
Right.
But it's never questioned.
Never.
It's only questioned when someone looks melanated. Then are they, again, that's a trope. Now that's a trope. Are they smart enough?
Right.
I don't think you're smart enough to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If it's something manual in labor and manual in nature, it's okay. You can go farm that land or pick that up or carry that because you're strong. You're meant to be that way. You're meant to lift. You're faster, stronger. But when it comes to things that are due to intelligence, we're always questioned at anything we do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I think you. Yeah, I just think that on that strong thing, it just, when I hear that, I just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're strong to do that. No, like having this baby. It's like, oh, you're so, like, no, I just know my body. Just I'm gonna tell you what needs to be done, and you just follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. But you just did it. You said being strong, but then you went and you were strong. Like, well, I know what it is. This is what you need to do. So it's weird.
Actually, I didn't say that to them.
I'm sorry.
No. Just to finish out, I didn't say that to them out loud.
Oh, okay.
I kind of let them do their job. In my head, I was just like, but I let them do their job. I let them figure it out.
Okay, got you.
Kind of thing, because I'm just like, I can't do your job and push your baby. I can't do your job in mine. So in my head, I'm just like, I'm gonna just flow, let this flow. It was a good experience, actually, when just letting go and just let people do their job. They'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if not, I just got a case. But
Doc, we can't hear you.
You muted.
And she's not really muted, but we can't hear her.
I can't.
So you got to turn your mic back on. You got a phone call.
Right.
And then you have to go into your settings and turn your mic on again.
But she got a phone call. That's not, she on her computer.
Yeah.
Oh. Is your computer hooked to your phone?
Oh, she's going to log out and come back in.
Doc, she will return.
So I can't.
But so it's tough, because we are always questioned. And how about even when you marry, when you come into a room, I know they're questioning a person. You're a black woman, a melanated woman coming in this room. With a lot of times I know faces don't look like you. We can hear you fine.
So what I was trying to say was...
I'll stop. Go ahead, Doc. You got it.
Oh, sorry there.
Go ahead, you strong black woman. black magic. Go ahead with your bad self.
Because y'all was waiting on me.
Like, yeah, right? Like y'all was waiting on me.
Y'all was waiting on me. Y'all wasn't having no new conversation.
We were like, damn, when she come back so she can talk.
That's what, just piggybacking off of what Kemp was saying, that's how we put our cape down, by letting other people do their daggone job.
Right.
Do what we do and let let other people take on their own responsibilities. And not jump in to save people.
Right.
And maybe not be to save people, but you jump in to correct something that I didn't ask you in the first place. I didn't ask you for that correction.
Yes.
Right? I get it if it's needed, but you guys, melanated women don't have to be all things to everything. And you guys, and I mean, I know you guys been thrust, and that's the tough part. You've been thrust in that position.
Yes.
Let's not get it twisted. It's not like it came about by mistake. It's been came about because you have been elected to this. You're going to be everything to everybody type position. Right. So we have to learn how not to, and this is not just melanated, this is everybody has been thrust you guys into these positions. You've helped everybody, you've been there for everybody. Even some of these things you've been in the background, like I said, you're not getting credit to what you're doing. So it's tough for you guys. Again, you've been thrust. We all have to now say, all right, we have to learn to do it. We have to take some of these, like, let me take part of that cape and put it on myself. But we're so used to you doing it, it's tough for us not to do it. You know, it's tough for us not to let you do it. Or when you say something, we automatically back off. You got it. So it's going to be a thing that a shift has to be. And again, it's not just here. I forgot. I went back. Trevor Noah was saying was the same thing in Africa, right? How women are leading things there, and they may not be in the forefront, but they're really leading from the back, right? So you may need a man to maybe push that ideal through because people will receive it better. But that's a woman generated that. That came off the back of her late nights, putting up and setting up and doing everything, doing all that, the real work that takes place, and all you have to go out there and do is say the speech, and everything was laid out for you. So he was saying even there, women are definitely running things, you know, but not given the credit. So it's not just a thing here. This is something that's going on in a lot of places where the melanated woman is really running things. You know, but not giving any credit, and really, you know, on the most, pushed down and talked about in the public, but behind closed doors, girl, you're doing a great job. They're gonna give you that.
Why you couldn't say that in the damn meeting?
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Why you gonna come to me and say that was a great idea? Say it to the people in front of the people.
Exactly.
Right. They can't do that, but they'll do it in private.
Yeah, you're gonna be my ally. Be my ally in public. Say my name when I'm not in the room.
Yes.
You know,
I know, Daryl, you was about to
and
say.
that goes for partners as well.
Yes.
Ooh, Doc, you talking now.
Yes, that goes for our partners as well.
Doc, why don't you say more about that?
I'm just going to piggyback over what you're saying. Don't tell me about how great of a mother or wife or whatever I am in private own.
Right. When we at your mother's house and she criticizing this, that, and the other, or your aunt saying what she did raising you, you need to say it then.
Yes.
Or your social media need to reflect your words. You talking about everybody else good, but you ain't never said nothing good about me to the people.
Right.
What you mean?
Or don't put that my children's father don't always make me late, but you don't say that they helped you get to the airport on time, or you don't say what it is that they, you know, helped with. You only say what they do wrong.
Negative, right? And that's why nobody like them. They don't know nothing about you but negative. That's all you told them. Then you wonder why nobody like them. You ain't told them nothing good.
You ain't told them
negative.
That's right. That's right.
But even on our day-to-day, when we wind down at the end of the day, we often focus on what we didn't get done. Versus what were your wins? What did you do well? What did you get accomplished? And what is it that you still need to work on? Or what are your goals for tomorrow? Not what you didn't get done and start beating yourself up. That's also informed by the social media situations.
And it's bad enough that you're beating yourself up, but you're getting it double because your partner's saying the same thing.
Right. And then they want some yams.
Right.
I mean, what the yams got it. We can't.
The chicken was good, but the potatoes were dry. All right, I worked 10 hours today, okay? So you lucky you got chicken and potatoes today.
Right.
Add some ketchup and be quiet.
Listen.
Add some ketchup and be quiet.
Okay, here comes Daryl.
What about them yams? I understand dinner is dry, but
did you check in with me emotionally? You know that this is what the world is that we have outside of this house, but did you check in with me emotionally outside of a task that you want to get accomplished before we go into some yams?
Did you check in with me emotionally?
We both should be checking in with each other.
Yes,
one-sided conversation.
I'm trying to check in with
you came in my post. I was like, this is not a one-sided conversation. We both play a part.
No, I didn't come. I asked a real question because I didn't know where we're going with it. I didn't know if we're just going with the woman or we're going with the man and woman. It was a serious question.
No, but you know when whenever you comment, we gotta put the slant like.
See, that's see how the black woman is coming at the black man. It shouldn't be at a slant. It should be straightforward.
We need a V8. Yeah, we need a V8.
Right. It's reset. Reset these parameters. So
we gotta have stats in the data.
We need to. We need to make sure that.
Sometimes we just have to go back to the basics, with our partners of just basic manners.
Absolutely.
Thank you for cooking dinner for me. And forget about what you didn't like about the dinner.
Have some grace.
Unless it was something like really atrocious. Sometimes you need to just not make that criticism.
Or sometimes just slip it to the dog.
Ruth, are you holding the yams hostage over different type of supports? That is not okay. Okay, you can't link the yams.
I'm gonna have to agree.
Yeah,
this is why it's both sides. You gotta make sure that both partners is asking about both partners before you get into the practical transactional things that help the house flow.
Mm-hmm.
So can I
but withholding yams shouldn't be a punishment.
Can I hold No, can I hold up the credit cards and the money?
3 days.
Exactly.
Can I hold up the money?
No, I gotta survive. I need spending money.
Right. When you want to go get them shoes, and I'm like, can I play no more shoes because you want punishment? Because you didn't ask how I was doing today?
Like, I'm going to buy my own damn shoes. So nix you a couple dollars because my shoes are the investment. They got a whole closet to themselves.
That's cool.
To themselves.
Yes, Camp. I'm not withholding because he does. No, so you're still saying if he did. See how he got to use.
I don't have no comments when y'all start talking about shoes.
I know.
Right. But see, that's what I'm saying. So can we withhold certain things because someone's not? I don't think that's the way they should go.
That's why I said what I said because I knew she wasn't going to have no comment about shoes.
I'm talking to Ruth
because she gonna say, "I get my shoes anyway."
Yeah, but you got to get them because I'm throwing them away when they come on the porch.
Oh no, you about to get shanked.
Right?
No, we're not. Because wait.
I don't want to.
Hey, you didn't check on me. You didn't check on me emotionally, so you shouldn't have these shoes coming in here.
We're about to fight.
You about to get shanked.
Oh, but we can withhold the yams. Come on, let's get it together now.
Yeah.
Let's get it together.
You coming at my shoes, you about to get shanked.
Well, if you ain't coming at, if you ain't coming at,
you're not gonna even know the shoes came in because they got their own room and their own sections. I don't even know that the new shoes is in there, that they've been in there for how many years. Like,
well, I was watching Back Shoe Game and she do post, and it was nice. I was like, ooh,
thank you.
Just know when you miss two rows.
We digress.
I know, right? I don't know. I kind of think sometimes the yams is a little different. Because it's hard to get into it if you're feeling emotionally.
It ain't hard to get into it.
It is because you just want to wet home.
I get into it just fine.
For some people,
it is hard to get. For some people,
it's hard to get into it if you don't feel emotionally connected.
But you can separate. I don't know. I feel like you can separate yams from emotions, but I'm different. But
no, listen, I agree. I feel like if you're having some issues and you really can't, perform. You can't perform your duties because of something else. I understand that. Whatever you want to call it, you don't want to perform because you don't feel like it, or you weren't being supported emotionally. I agree. You shouldn't have to do anything. But no, my side joint will. So it's okay. We'll all be all right.
Oh my God. So instead of
helping you out. I'm helping you out.
Instead of fixing the problem at home,
that's not a social trope for the men.
Take his emotionally unavailable behind to somebody else.
Right. That's not a social trope for men.
I feel like it is.
Wait a minute. It's my fault because because you wanna punish me by not giving me none.
No,
I'm a grown ass man. I will not be on punishment. Just like if you don't want to eat, then I'm like, I'll go buy something. I'll go to McDonald's get some food. Hey, you don't want to give me nothing? I'll go somewhere else and get something else. I'm just saying, it's always somewhere else to eat. Literally.
Well, if that's part of your relationship dynamic and understood amongst both parties, hey.
But I don't think I think it's an issue if it is used as that's my thought. If it is used as punishment, because I have a lot of girls friends who would say, "Oh, I put him on the couch, or he's not getting up for 2 weeks because he didn't."
You're punishing yourself,
right?
Cut the yard.
That makes no sense.
Only yourself, because I was taking care of doing that 2 weeks.
You know what?
Okay. I'm not sure if, in fact, we have anything as far as wrapping this conversation up that we want to share, or if we find that we might need to have a part 2. But what will happen is we'll discuss that in the green room, because listen, y'all got something else y'all want to add?
The couch is fine for me because I'll be all right.
I was about to put you on mute because I knew you was going to say something reckless.
But Gerald just said he just basically rolled over.
One monkey don't stop no circus.
Doc, do you have anything to close us out or wrap us up?
I don't.
Thank you for joining us for another week of a Friday night sip and chat, where we try to talk about all things relationships, because relationships matter. So this space is created so that we can hear your voice and your concerns. And we value you as listening to us either live or on the replay. So until next week, and we have our whatever the conversation is going to be, you stay well and stay safe. And thanks for joining us for another week.
Good night.
Have a good one, everybody.